We're going to open up the conference with Mr. Don Warden, who is the COO of the National Shrine of Our Lady of Champion, and he's going to do our welcome and share a little bit about the history of the shrine.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the entire Shrine staff and volunteers, I welcome you this weekend to the National Shrine of Our Lady of Champion. I see many familiar faces here. I'm just wondering, by show of hands, who has been here before? All right, by show of hands, who is here at the shrine for the first time? Many hands. Welcome. So, we're just going to spend a few minutes bringing everybody up to speed on why this beautiful place in rural northeast Wisconsin exists. We go back to 1855, and a ship bound from Belgium coming to the United States with the Bryce family. Adele Bryce and her family had made the decision, like many Belgians in that 8-year span, to come to the United States, most of whom settled here in northeast Wisconsin, which is the largest Belgian settlement outside of Belgium. She had earlier, as a very faithful young girl, promised with her friends, as they were being prepared for communion and their confirmation, that they would serve Our Lady in the missions with the good sisters who were preparing them for the sacraments. These good sisters happened to be in a convent in a town called Champion in Belgium. And so when the decision was made by Lambert Bryce, her father, to come to the United States, this troubled her, and this would have been 14 years after she had made this promise. So this promise was real, and most likely a few of her friends were probably already serving with that order of sisters. And so she went to her pastor and asked what she should do. She explained the situation, and he said, "Be obedient to your parents, and if Our Lady wants to hold you to that promise, you will become a missionary in the United States, in America." And so they arrived here, and 4 years later, at the age of 28, on the way to the grist mill to get some wheat ground into flour, she encounters this mysterious woman dressed all in white, glowing, absolutely beautiful. No words are exchanged, and in very short order, the apparition disappears. A week later, on her way to Mass, which was 10 miles from her home, a trip that she made every Sunday, despite the fact that many in the Belgium settlement had lost that practice, mostly because of the harsh conditions and the fact that you had to walk 10 miles to go to Mass. But she made that trip, and on that morning she was walking with her sister and a friend, and for the second time this beautiful lady appeared. Again, no words were exchanged, and after Mass that day, she again consulted her pastor at Holy Cross, which you all drove by on the way up here, explained the situation and asked, "What should I do?" And he said, "If this woman is of God, simply ask, 'Who in God's name are you, and what do you want of me?'" And on their way back from Mass, the lady appeared for the third and final time, and this time she introduced herself as the Queen of Heaven. "I am the Queen of Heaven, who prays for the conversion of sinners, and I wish you to do the same. You have received communion this morning, and that is well, but you must do more. Offer your communion in reparations for the conversion of sinners." The other companions with her could not see anyone and asked who Adele was talking to, and she motioned to them that this was the Queen of Heaven and that they should kneel down. And Our Lady said, "Blessed are those who believe without seeing." And then this faithful young woman who would walk 10 miles to Mass every Sunday is admonished by Our Lady when she says, "Why are you standing in idleness? when your companions are working in my son's vineyard. Obviously a reference to her friends back in Belgium who were working with the sisters in that order in Champion. And Adele exclaims, "What more can I do?" She says, "Gather the children in this wild country and teach them what they should know for salvation. Teach them the sign of the cross. Teach them their catechism and how to prepare for the sacraments. That is what I wish you to do. Go and fear nothing. I will help you." And like all of us who are given a mission, she immediately sent out, dropped everything she was doing, and went and did it, right? Or did she go and consult and say, well, maybe I should put a little strategic plan together? No. Adele, who was ever the obedient young lady, immediately began going home to home in the Door County Peninsula here, offering in exchange for the privilege of teaching the children to do the chores around the house. So she would wash dishes, she would cut firewood, because at that time the excuse was, well, I'd love to have you teach my children, but we have things to do. Our days are busy just surviving. And so that's how she did it. Eventually she was joined by other companions. A schoolhouse was built here, which still stands today. But before that, one little event that happened in 1871, a summer which saw fires breaking out all around northeast Wisconsin here. Most people are familiar with the Great Chicago Fire, some cow and lantern or something like that. But on that very same evening here in northeast Wisconsin, over 1.5 million acres were burned. Between 1,500 and 2,500 people lost their lives in a fire the same evening. And that fire raged across this area. Adele, with her companions, with the children, and with many who lived in the neighborhood, gathered, some bringing their animals around the wood chapel that was here, praying inside the chapel, lifting a statue of Our Lady and processing around the 5-acre grounds that's behind the chapel, outlined by our rosary path today, and prayed that Our Lady would intercede for them. And in the early morning hours, a rain fell and extinguished the fire. The date was October 9th, 1871, exactly 12 years to the date of her third apparition to Adele. After that, a larger chapel was built. Everything obviously was made out of brick at this point. And she went on to teach children, and she continued doing that until Adele passed in 1896. Feel free today. You're going to have plenty of time to walk around the grounds. I would certainly encourage you to visit the chapel, the Apparition Chapel, which is our main chapel. And then down in the basement, kind of underneath the sanctuary, is our Apparition Oratory, a place of prayer and peace, and many answered prayers and many graces have happened down there. And I think with all that we've dealt with in the last several weeks, there's a lot of darkness in the world. Our call is to always stand for the truth, but I think as Our Lady so strongly put to Adele, that we need to not only pray for our own conversions and continue to work on our own conversions, but we must pray and offer our communions for the conversion of others, some of whom are in such darkness they may have lost their way and are not sure how to do that anymore. So that's up to us to help Our Lady in bringing those souls back. I pray that your souls are graced with many blessings this weekend. And again, I thank you all for being here, and I thank the wonderful staff. The Flame of Love, this number 6. So anyhow, this has been a wonderful partnership, and it's a joy working with the Flame of Love and spreading Our Lady's message of reparation and intercession and bringing people to her Son. So welcome and have a wonderful conference.